These are the 6 best fullback options for the Springboks in 2024. Now, I think out of all the positions on the rugby field for the Springboks, this might be the position where we lack the most depth. Today, I'm going to be going through just 6 options that I think the Springboks have at the fullback position. This isn't including utility players like Kane and Moody or Kurtley Arendse or Ches and Colby that can slot in at 15. These are dedicated number 15s. Before we jump in, I just want to make sure that you guys have hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and we would love for you to be a part of it. Let's get in to these 6 options. Now, to start this off, I think let's get through Willie le Roux and Damian Willemse first, the 2 sort of premier fullbacks that we have at the moment in the Springboks. Now, Willie le Roux is currently 34, so I think they're going to try and start phasing Willie le Roux out. He has been prone to injuries lately, but he is still playing very, very well for the Bulls. He also has been included in the alignment camp with the Springboks. I think that's more of just an older role so that he can get these younger guys in, train them up, show them what the Springboks systems and procedures are like, and then they're probably going to start phasing Willie le Roux out over the next couple of years. But there's no doubt that he can still play for the Springboks. He just won the 2023 World Cup with the Springboks. So first of all, I do think he's going to be phased out in the next couple of years. I still do think Willie le Roux will be a Springbok this year, and he still will have a couple of caps, but I don't think he's going to play in the next World Cup. A fullback that I do think is going to play in the next World Cup is Damian Willemse. He's 25 years old. He's already won 2 World Cups. He's already very, very experienced, and he's only 25. He probably has 2 more World Cups in him, maybe even 3 if they really push him. But Damian Willemse is one of the players of our generation. He's probably one of the best, most informed players in the world at the moment within rugby. He's been absolutely tearing it up for the Stormers, and we know how good he is in that 15 position for the Springboks. He also offers up the utility option, playing at fly half, playing at the number 12 inside center, which is where he's playing for the Stormers this weekend. But I do think his premier position is in that number 15 jersey for the Springboks. So if there was another category higher than the Springboks, that's where I'd put Damian Willemse, because that's how important I think he is to the DNA of that Springbok side. Now, if you look past these 2, it really doesn't paint a good picture. I don't think we have a lot of depth in this position, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say. Yes, Willie le Roux and Damian Willemse have been holding the torch for a long time, but it is time to start getting a couple more guys under them in case Willie le Roux and Damian Willemse get injured. We don't want to be in a situation where Damian Willemse and Willie le Roux are both injured, and then we need to call on someone who doesn't have any experience in a Springbok top. Now, the first option I want to bring up is Devin Williams. Now, I don't think he isn't a real option for the Springboks. I don't think he's going to get picked. He didn't get picked for the alignment camp. He made his name coming up in the Pumas, and now he's moved over into the Bulls. He's also a bit of a utility back, can play 15 as well as the wings, as well as probably a little bit of fly off, but he is 31 years old. So I do think he's sort of coming to the back end of his career, and I don't think it would be wise for Rassie and the coaching staff to pick Devin Williams because they're looking to build towards that 2027 and 2031 World Cup. So although Devin Williams has been having a couple of good seasons for the Pumas and now for the Bulls, I just don't think he's going to be on their radar because of his age. So unfortunately for Devin Williams, I'm going to put him in that club level. Then next up, we got Apelele Fassi. Now, Fassi is only 25 years old. If you think about Fassi, he's been around for absolute years. You would have thought that he's closer to the age of 30, but he has had 3 Springbok caps. He does play for the Sharks and has been playing quite well for the Sharks. He's very, very good on the attack. But I think why he hasn't got more caps for the Springboks is because of his defense. It did get outed a little bit a couple of years ago that his defense is just not up to scratch. But I do think Fassi is an option for the Springboks. He is still 25. If Damian Willemse still has 2 more World Cups in him, then Fassi definitely has 2 more World Cups in him. So if Fassi can just tighten the nuts and bolts on his defense, I think he's a world-class player. A couple of years ago, people were pegging him to be one of the stars, future stars of the Springboks, and I still think he has that in him. I think he just needs to apply himself a little bit more And I do think we will see Fussy in a Springbok top again. So for me, I do think Fussy is on the cusp. I think he has to do just a little bit more to make it into that Springbok side, but I could definitely see him being the replacement to Damian Willemse if Willemse gets injured. Now, another option that a couple of years ago people were definitely pegging as one of the future Springboks. He does have 10 caps for the Springboks. He came up through the SA school system. He applied his trade at the Bulls, and now he's moved over to the Stormers, and he's playing very, very well for the Stormers. Warwick Gelant. He's an absolute talent. He lights that back line on fire, and him and Damian Willemse sort of share that 15 jersey at the Stormers. When Gelant is firing, then Willemse plays 12. When Gelant is not really firing, then Willemse will play in that 15 position. Now again, I think Gelant has been on the cusp for many, many years. He's a world-class player. He just hasn't quite ticked over into that Springbok-esque Damian Willemse style of player. He was in the 2019 World Cup, and he did win the 2019 World Cup with the squad, but I just don't know if he's going to be in the plans for the Springboks, just given his age, working towards the 2027 World Cup. I feel like I keep saying that over and over in the videos, but I think you have to apply that when you're looking at these players. It has to make sense for the long-term play, for the 5 to 7 to 8 to 10 year play. So for me, I think Warwick Gelant might still get a couple of caps. I think he's on the cusp. He could be a contender for the next World Cup, but I don't think for 2031, which is probably why he won't get that much game time in a Springbok top. Then finally, my final option is Keuan Horn. Now, I think Horn is probably the successor to Damian Willemse at the moment. Horn came up through the junior Springboks. He now applies his trade for the Lions and has been absolutely lighting it up for the Lions. He also got called up for the alignment camp, and he's only 22 years of age. He's physical. His kicking game is very, very good. He's great on defense, and his attack, I mean, it speaks volumes for itself. Just go watch a Horn tribute video and you'll see. But Keuan Horn, at 22 years of age, I definitely think could take the mantle over from Damian Willemse, which is why I think he was included in the alignment squad. He's the perfect player to take over from Willie Leroux. So Damian Willemse sort of moves into the senior position, and then Keuan Horn sort of comes in as the junior. Damian Willemse and Willie Leroux will probably be teaching Keuan Horn quite a lot about the processes and systems, and I do think we should keep our eye out for him, because I do think he's going to get a couple of caps in the Springbok jersey this year. So for me, I'm going to put Horn in the Springbok category. I do think he's going to get a couple of caps this year, and I do think he'll be one of those selections, if he keeps playing well, that will go to the 2027 World Cup. So a bit of a shorter video today, but we just lack a little bit of depth in that fullback position. Now, I know we do have a lot of players that can play in that position, but I wanted to focus on solely fullbacks, which is why we have Willie Leroux, Damian Willemse, and Keuan Horn in that Springbok position. As always, let me know what you guys think about this. I know there will be a couple of comments about who I've included and who I haven't included. That's okay, as long as you make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.